I broke no laws today, Moan.
None.
None.
And you know what, DK? If I hit this bell soon enough and start this, we will beat all these bets on here too. You ready?
Yeah, let's do that too. Okay, cool.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wait, that was really fast.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah, DK. Yeah.
We did it.
The Lil Wade show. Yeah.
We did it. That's right.
Yeah.
Ding on 5.
Ding on 5, baby.
Look at that. We got an LFG from somebody here. This
Quickest
is the
open
no-huddle offense.
We're back to no-huddle offense, DK.
Now, that said, the show is coming on an hour later than usual, but that's for a decent reason. I was out in Latrobe covering the Steelers.
Yeah.
Very eventful practice.
Yeah.
To say the least. By far the most eventful one of this early training camp with pads on, Moan, with pads.
I'm pulling up. I'm on my Twitter burner account, right? I got my burner. I'm following stuff on social media because I'm still locked out of mine. But guess what's on my thread, DK? On my suggested page, okay? On the X is Corey Trice, is JPJ, okay? And it's this alien that floats around Latrobe.
I believe he wears 14.
He wears 14. He goes up high, come down with like footballs in his hand by the name of George Pickens.
Yeah, I got to tell you, you and I communicated after I was off campus there. And as I was driving back, I'm talking to Ramon safely, hands-free.
You were safely today.
Even when you sent me the text of George's catch, which I couldn't see because I was doing backs on backers. Yeah, right. And the George thing happened clear on the other side of the complex. I heard this roar from the crowd. So I get this thing from Ramon. When I arrive here downtown safely, I look at the thing, and you know what I thought to myself?
What's that?
Offensive pass interference.
Not even close. Not even close, man. Oh my gosh.
I saw 3 of them.
Immediately, DK, I missed your call, and then I had like 4 alerts on my phone from like network apps and stuff. Steelers, George Pickens, Steelers. What a catch. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'd look at the clip, call you back, and we start talking about practice. Like, did you see it? It's like, no, I didn't see it. Everybody in the world has seen this thing. I'm in a group chat on my phone with some of my good buddies discussing George Pickens. Wow.
Look, the level of acrobatics is through the roof. And I actually mean that literally, not just figuratively, because he went way up, then he came way down, but then he has the football in the left hand, and it's an amazing show. But if you're Joey Porter Jr. and you're standing there, and he was like, come on, man. And then the part that I wasn't wild about here is that Pickens then after that shows up Porter. Okay, look at you, offensive guy.
Come on, man.
But he's showing him up in practice.
JPJ,
what did Allen Iverson say?
I'm with you. Go ahead and finish, man. Go ahead. And finish.
I don't like it. It's a practice, and they've been going at it. Now that part we do like.
Yes, we do.
But here's the thing. We just had someone here in the shop who said, "Is this a better catch than the one in Cleveland?" No, man. The one in Cleveland was in a game with a pass rush, whatever else here. And also, if this had happened in Cleveland, he would have gotten 3 OPI flags and taunting.
He got it. See, and now we're on the wrong side. You're on this side, telling the offensive guy what we're supposed to be thinking right now, DK. And we see all the comments too. By the way, we will get to Trice and we'll discuss what's going on here.
Yeah.
But my guy right here, okay, he's telling an offensive guy how we're supposed to feel about practice when the defense get all the joy and all of the talk.
That's where we're going here. Okay.
Now, let me preface this by saying I saw Joey Porter Jr. from a young fella. Do you understand me? To where I saw Joey be like, man, every dad looks at their kid and be like, even no matter how good they are, right? Especially if you're a former pro, you've seen what it looks like, we get blinded by how we went about it. We forget we looked amateur as heck, right, DK?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it happens sometimes. We forget that we made mistakes. We forget that we got to grow into our bodies. We forget that, look, we didn't know everything as a rookie or as a freshman or as a college junior, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I saw Joey trying to figure out, what JPJ is going to be. Joey Jr. is going to be, right? And he's at that spot. I watch him be grown up inside of our building. So this is in no disrespect to Joey Porter Jr. whatsoever. This is me celebrating what competition is all about. Is that fair before I go any further?
I think it is.
Yes. Y'all are good in the comments if now I go further.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So with that being said, is this, DK, we called this out as one of those matchups we needed to see in camp. We said this, George Pickens and Joey Porter Jr. will be the matchup to come each day in camp because you got a second-year guy, you got a rookie. You got two guys that need to still prove themselves as if they belong in the NFL, right? They can play ball in the NFL. That's why I look at this JPJ and GP situation as a situation that needs to blossom into a friggin' rose, man. Because that back and forth to me, I thought it was warranted. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a spirit of competition. The offensive guys ran down the field to chest bump them. And also,
they did all of them.
Good to see this. It was so good to see Deontay be
First one there.
Who was the first one?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson was the first one there. That warmed me. That let me know that room is in good standing. That let me know no matter what happens between them two, they teammates. And Deontay is happy to see him shine like that. So much for. So when he got up, and George just said he's a creative player on Madden the other day. And you know what he did? He made an acrobatic type of play today. And I was happy to see it. The throwback, I'll tell you this. It's for us to celebrate that, right, DK? It's on Coach Tomlin and his staff to say, hey, dude, you're going to have to battle with this man on Sundays. Let's keep all of that together. Okay,
meaning battle alongside.
Battle alongside them.
Yeah.
There's no need for you to be throwing the ball at them. But in the spirit of what their battle was and is going to be, DK, I'll take that one. George Pickens was due one. Now, what has to happen is this, right, DK? For every action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. Now, if they decide to fold George Pickens one day in practice, safely, hit him real hard, hey, George, you had that coming. And that's usually how it go in camps. George Pickens need to have his head on the swivel a little bit for the next few days is what I say.
And he understands that.
Okay.
I mean, this is somebody he's okay with that game.
Okay.
You know, it's a little bit different for some guys, but especially at those positions.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, Moan, that wasn't the only place on the field where things got heated, because the thing that I was watching while that happened was backs on backers. And there were some high spirits over there. There was some high energy, and we're going to talk about that in the second segment. Before we get to that, we have a number of people asking about Corey Trice. So I'm going to share this. This happened about 30 feet away from me. Trice was not directly involved in the play, but it wasn't one of those what did you call it, Moan, when we were communicating earlier?
Non-contact.
It really wasn't, because he appeared to me as if there were three players who collided. He wasn't one of them.
Okay.
And what ended up happening was he looked like he turned while his right foot was planted. I know. And then he just went. And I think everyone knew what was happening there. He could not put any weight on it. And then as he went off on the cart, fans were politely applauding. He had his head down with his braids around. You couldn't even see his face. Now, I did see another athlete in my time have an injury that looked like this a few years ago on that same exact field. In fact, the same side of the field. And I thought he was done for the year. And that was number 73, Ramon Foster.
I remember that.
And then the next thing I knew, opening night in Cleveland, there he was. We're not sitting here playing doctor or whatever. This did not look good.
I'll say this too. When guys are in these type of situations, I'll be honest with y'all, we're some of the most scared people in the world, because
You're seeing everything flash. All
Everything
your work
flashes.
Yeah.
And I hope y'all okay with me saying, like, you get scared. Like, guys cry. I had that look on my face. I didn't shed a tear, but it was just like,
I remember it.
Immediately, my career is done. Immediately, how? Today. Again, first day of pads too, right? Mine was on the first day of pads too.
It was.
You know what I'm saying? So excitement is at an all-time high. So to hear there was non-contact, I don't know what the motion of the injury looked like, but my knee went backwards so much so I never watched a clip of it. Okay. I never watched a clip of it. But what I'll say is this: be slow to go on that, because guys get emotional. Guys don't know what their future is going to look like in these situations. He's probably never had a serious injury. And a lot of the times, I tell my wife this: I don't know how to be sick and I don't know how to be hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because you paint this image in your head. I'm Iron Man. I'm the dude that they're going to, like, I'm going to be all right. And when you can't put weight on your leg the way Corey Trice couldn't, or it was perceived that he couldn't, you think certain things.
Couldn't. He could not.
But that's also one of those situations, DK, to where it could just be, well,
they're telling
MCL,
him not to. Yeah.
And they're telling him not to. It could be a hyperextended knee. It could be a bone bruise. Bone bruises suck. That's initially what mine was, with a small tear. And the tear healed itself, but the bone bruise, I couldn't put no weight down. I couldn't push off on anything. It ached like hell. It was just bad. But I thought what was a shattered knee was a bone bruise with a slight tear. You know what I'm saying? So until we get those images and they say he's out for the season or something like that, or, hey, this is a few weeks and he'll be back by the start, I think his excitement around him has warranted him enough interest from the staff to stick around in some capacity. He still got to go out on the field and prove himself, right, DK? Mm-hmm. But I don't want to diagnose him, because I thought I was done, and I played that year and started all 16 games, and also came back the next year too. So let's be kind of slow to go on saying Corey's done for the year. Is all I will tell you guys on those injuries. Players don't know how to be hurt, y'all.
It's taking away everything that you do.
Yeah,
it just is. It's everything that you go from Superman to Clark Kent like that.
Oh, you do, because DK, he's been looking forward to this. He's trained for it. He's heard you talk about him and me talk about him and the fans on his social media. So he feel like he let folks down too. So the emotions of what's going on, let's just be slow until we know, is all I'll tell you guys.
When we come back, we have a whole bunch of questions piled up here. We have a gentleman here at our shop ready to fire off the first of the Hey Moans. And I believe that it'll end up being the only segment that matters.
That's Hey Moan. Come on, y'all.
At DK Pittsburgh Sports, we take pride in coverage that connects our city's fans to their favorite teams. Now, that connection's stronger than ever. Introducing our all-new state-of-the-art app. Find expert inside reporting and original podcasts. Check live box scores. Track the latest stats. Chat it up with our community of thousands of fans, all in one place. The new app from DK Pittsburgh Sports. Coverage that connects.
Moan, did you happen to know that at the Get-Go Cafe and Market, quality happens to be at the core of every menu item? For real. 3 expert chefs fine-tune every detail so that every sub, burger, salad, wrap, drink, and app is crafted for craveability. Order your favorite entry at the Get-Go Cafe and Market today. Better believe it. There are actually a bunch of them now in the St. Vincent College area.
That's what happens when you good, DK.
That's right. They just want more of it here. We're going to get started today with Don, who's here at our HQ shop. Come on in, Don.
Come on in. Come on in, Don. Paging Don.
Hey. Hello, Moan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, great.
Good. Get closer to the mic a little bit. Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Oh, you're perfect now.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to let you guys know this show is tremendous. You guys do such a great job. You work so well together.
Thank you.
I've been a Steeler fan for a long time. And, I got to say, in the last year or so, when I started watching you guys, it's added a whole nother dimension. I really appreciate all the information you bring, the knowledge recall, and it's really, coming from a from a former player like yourself. It's really special.
Thank you, Don. Well, we always said we're going to start this show with no fluff, no foolishness, and just straight football, Steeler football. I hope we're holding it up.
Well, you bring it with a lot of style too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
My question. So,
hey, Moan, what is that
Hey,
question?
Hey, Moan. There we go, Don.
back in 2000, at the end of the 2016 season,
Yes.
I think or 15, you were playing the Bengals in that first playoff game.
Yeah.
I think it was January 2016.
Where they could have won their first playoff game and everything.
Yeah, they could have won that. There was like 22 seconds left. So explain to me what happened. Kind of describe the chaos that was going on with Perfect and Pac-Man Jones and
Were
you guys all
man.
on it? Was there a lot of trash talking back and forth on both sides?
It had man, great question. I don't think anybody ever asked what happened on the field. So the game was heated, in a lot of different ways. Cincinnati was a good team at the time. They had a real strong chance of beating us. They were hosting. We had to go to them, and we were down. We were down and out essentially. And if I'm not mistaken, Landry Jones gives up an interception, or if I'm not mistaken. And at that point, they ran off and did their full celebration and whatnot. And it was just a big debacle of everything it was a huge buildup to everything that was going on. Like, there was a lot of trash talking. There was a lot of back and forth, but that's AFC North ball. It's just different. I was speaking to a guy, Anthony Levine, that played for Baltimore, and he just talked to me. He was like, it's just different with us in the North. So the fact that they were on the cusp of winning, and the fact that we had some players, maybe some coaches, Joey Porter, on the field, they just found anything and any reason to be upset and be mad. And the fact that stuff was swinging in our direction, the momentum of us being able to win and close out that game, they just couldn't handle it. And it wasn't just the players. It was the fans throwing stuff. It was the stuff they said to you, them seeing Ben walk back out there. Like, my brother, my blood brother, went to the game, and he rode with some guys who were Cincinnati fans, and they threatened to leave him because he was cheering for me. So it was just so much tension to where Cincinnati was close enough to be where they are right now as far as the team in 2015-16, but they just couldn't grab it. And it just made them upset. But the thing is, Don, the structure and how you operate as a team. Coach Tomlin trains us a certain way mentally and physically too, and as a team and an outfit. And a lot of people don't give them credit for that. We had more poise. We'd been in situations like that before, and they couldn't understand, in my opinion, why it went against them. It came down to a team just being poised and being hardened. And that's one thing Pittsburgh Steelers always do. Think about where we are right now. This is the quickest reset I feel like any team's ever had if they don't go out and spend hundreds of millions of dollars on free agents. We didn't do that. Nope. So it was frustration, trash talking, expectation that just went on our side right there.
Well, Steelers are a class act organization from top to bottom, so it's no surprise.
No,
and that's why so many teams resent them and dislike them, and that's why they get booed by other fans.
And that's why we got the best fans in the world, because they understand it too, Don.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate your time on this answer. Appreciate everything.
No doubt about it.
And then make sure everybody, we got to get 1,000 subscriptions. I need to get my merchandise.
See? Look at Dolly and tell her we close. I see her behind the scenes.
You did say
it. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that. Awesome question.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We should clarify or add or throw into the mix here that Landon Roberts also had an injury today. It's not seen at all as being serious.
Okay.
He was this will segue me right into the backs on backer stuff.
Oh, here we go.
But man, was he a terror. He had no use for anybody having anything to do with him in this drill.
I love it.
You know how sometimes at the end of that drill, there's that extra swipe or that extra shove or that he had almost all of them. he was that guy. And he actually tried to get into it with Zach Gentry, who's like the coolest guy in the world.
So chill.
Yeah, and Zach's just like,
that's the look he probably had to. Let me tell you something about this. That's very true right here, man. We're talking about it. Landon Roberts, Thumper. He's kind of known to be that too. But I'll say this when we talk about linebackers coming to Pittsburgh, and I think some guys were asking me yesterday how to categorize, some of the guys that are in the fold right now, right? As far as the Steelers linebackers go, is linebackers like coming to Pittsburgh and play for the Steelers defense?
There's something about this linebacker group, and I know they're getting their knocks from all over, even with the addition of Quan Alexander, who, by the way, finished the drills today with a real flourish and had everybody whooping him up and whatever else. All three of them. Okay, and I mean, if we want to throw Mark Robinson into it too, then it'd be four. But when you're talking about Cole Holcomb, Landon Roberts, and now Quan Alexander, all three of them take a lot of pride in being physical. They want to hit.
Yeah.
And when you talk about, and when you hear Vince Williams say, these are the kinds of linebackers that the first thing about being physical is that you have to want it.
Yeah, you do.
You have to seek it out. And this group might not be perfect. They might not be the best in coverage. They might not be whatever, but they are like Ron Slay in the sense that they are full of rage.
Yeah. Oh man. But so I saw the question come across. I didn't start or whatever. It's like, if this group sticks together, what is this trio? Quan, Landon, and Cole. And I think we got to look at them just as that, though, DK. If they all stay healthy and play parts on this defense,
they
right?
Have to be.
They are the trio.
They're going to have to be. I think, and putting this in maybe a little bit more of a cynical / realistic way, they're going to have to be the sum of their parts.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Somebody asked me yesterday, or a couple days ago out in Latrobe. It's just a fan who was there. They asked me, well, like, how do you think these guys will line up for their downs? Who's the first down guy, third down guy? I said it's going to have to be a complete mix and match. It just will.
It is.
And when you're talking about Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin running your defense, they had Robert Spillane as their third down guy, which makes no sense. So whatever it was that they were doing with that, it's going to be.
Yeah, and this is what we need out of this defense, though, because the NFL is all about tendencies, right, though, DK? We need two of the three to be able to do two good things really well. Stop the run and play in coverage. Quan is a guy that I think can do that. I think Landon is a thumper, and I think Cole can drop into coverage underneath coverage. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We'll see what Landon looks like. That way we don't have tendencies that team can put one of the linebackers out there and have him in a bad situation like Robert Spillane, respectfully, right? We need two of the three to be, as Coach T say, above the line.
Yep.
When it comes out. And that way that trio can kind of work itself out, DK.
You guys will like this. Leo asks, DK, can you talk about Darnell Washington and TJ Watt? I already shared this with Ramon before the show.
We know this. We knew this was going to happen too, didn't we?
And totally called it, right? What he does, beginning of backs on backers, very early in it, I should say, Tomlin yells out, 8-0, 8-0. That's Washington's number. Every time you see him, I want to see you, was exactly what he said. And he was pointing towards TJ Watt. Yeah. So every time it was TJ's turn, they were going to break out of order to make sure that Darnell Washington's there. All right. So TJ lines up with Darnell, goes up against him. And how did I describe this to you on the phone?
It said it was boring.
Boring. It was like
boring.
I compared it to, for those of you who remember Andrew Whitworth, terrific left tackle.
Yes, he is.
Outstanding.
And good on TV tackle. Too. Yeah.
And when he would go against Debo, against James Harrison, he was the only guy who would just swallow him up. Okay.
Yeah,
like Debo had no answer.
He didn't.
Because all Whitworth did was stand there and exist.
Yep.
Yeah, so
use like his body.
Black hole. Yeah, black hole. So what happened with Darnell was he just kind of stood there. So Tomlin thinks he's onto something, and he tries it again, and it was just as boring. No reaction from anybody from either side, including Darnell's side, because it didn't even look like he did anything. He just existed. All right. So 8-0.
Yeah.
You've got 56. Ooh,
Alex
everyone goes,
Highsmith.
Alex Highsmith. Ooh, okay, yeah, that's great. Okay, so Highsmith lines up. Highsmith goes at him. Same thing.
Yawn.
He turns around. He goes back to his fellow tight ends, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, good job, man. Good job. Yeah, good job. Good job. Yeah, good job. Good job." So if it feels like there's a punchline coming, there is.
So let me say this though too before you go to the third one, because 3 is not like the first 2. Your first 2 starters are TJ and Alex Highsmith, right? So from what you're telling me is this: TJ and Alex decided, okay, we're gonna pick out the biggest dude in y'all room, and we're gonna punch him in the mouth. They decided to run down the middle of him. And you know what? If I was a defender, I'd do that too. I've seen numerous D linemen have new offensive linemen, and the first thing they do is bull rush them because you're setting the precedence to what's going to happen. TJ and Alex are pro enough that this drill happens every single day. They're in pads.
Yes.
2 things are certain in Latrobe, PA. The tight end's going to hit the big pad every single day. Like they're live dependent on it, and backs on backers is going to be a thing. So what's going to happen now is TJ and Alex are going to meetings tonight, and they're going to watch film, and they're going to say, okay, we did what we were supposed to do. We'll never do that again. I can't run through the middle of you.
And on that note, Randy Wagner, who's already had a really good day for us in terms of grabbing everybody some gift memberships, which you can do, by the way, dkps.net/join. Randy shows impeccable timing here and says, I'm hearing more than once that Nick Herbig is breaking to the quarterback. Is he for real? Now, Herbig is Moan's guy, so I'll give way here in a second, okay? But Herbig was the last OLB to get a shot at Darnell Washington. And you know what he did?
What'd he do?
If you can see my arm here, I'm going to go this way. He goes right at Darnell, right at him, races the chicken wing. What was the move called again?
A quick arm over.
Quick arm over, says the 11-year NFL starter. Chicken wing goes up, says the reporter. And he goes right around him like he didn't exist. Didn't touch him in the slightest. Gets right to the fake quarterback. And oh my goodness, did the linebackers explode. Because it was Herbig who figured out you're not getting through that guy.
So let me break a couple things down. One, smart.
7:25?
No, it's 7:30, right? 7:41. So this is what happened, though, and this is why I figured out a guy like the Big Ten is known for very smart institutions, right? Wisconsin is a very smart institution, right? So what happened is the young fella, Nick Herbig, ended up watching the 2 veterans in front of him and said, why would I, who's smaller than those 2 dudes, try to run through this big old man? Let me give him a move instead of running through him. It'll be the exact same thing. And you got to honestly give credit to TJ and also to Alex for being in a situation that says, I'm going to punch him in the mouth and I'll deal with whatever happens later. Okay. So what happened was he hit him with a speed stutter. And let's say this is the helmet of Darnell Washington. He hit him with a stutter and he quick armed over. Because at that point, Darnell was probably expecting another bull rush.
Boring.
And
He
you know
didn't
what?
get it. He didn't get it.
He hit him with it.
He was braced. You're so right. Again, this happened.
He was braced for it.
I mean, this was about no more than 15, 20 feet in front of me. And I'm actually behind Darnell as this is happening. So I'm watching Herbig. I'm actually seeing the play develop. Yeah. Which is really kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. And to see the chicken wing threw me too. I didn't see it coming either. You know, that's part of the things where we were saying, like, slow down when it comes to the traits that we expect Darnell Washington to have. The one-arm catch he had at the combine and stuff like that ain't going to be his specialty. His specialty now is going to be blocking on the line of scrimmage, but also being a guy that you can put in the game for max protections that has the capability of catching. Right.
That's his role.
Right.
Until it grows a little bit more. And he also going to have to go to meetings tonight and do this, DK. That's my weakness. I can't allow that to show up on film many more times like that. Because TJ,
he got coached up right after it.
You better believe he did, man.
Not has right there on the spot. He got coached up. Alfredo Roberts going to him, of course. Just saying, okay, that was your learning. Because you know who else could have done that to you just as easily? TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith.
But what were they trying to do? Because this is what this team is. They were trying to just beat them up real quick.
Yeah, that's all.
And
That's all. They didn't want to look like they were getting cute in a drill that's not supposed to be cute.
It ain't supposed to be
Tony comes in with a $9.99 contribution, and that's very generous. Appreciate that. Very clearly, Tony was out there in Latrobe as well. He said it's a good day to leave the uncle's table. George Pickens looked awesome, but how about some cheers for Calvin Austin's speed translating to pads? That was a sweet deep ball down the sideline to him. I miss seeing Ben DeWallace. For anybody who doesn't know what Tony's referring to, Calvin Austin went down the right sideline, just took off. Now, this has happened a couple of times in camp. He is obviously not a big dude, but his speed will buy him the separation that makes it a moot point. Two beautiful things happened here. One was the separation that Calvin got. I forget who the DB was. Maybe somebody can remind me. But the other one was Moan.
Yeah.
And Kenny just dropped it.
So you've come on here 2 days in a row
guy
and kind of said something that was supposed to be a deficiency of his is Kenny Pickett ability to throw the bomb down the sideline or over the field.
He keeps hitting them.
He
threw the one to George. He threw the one to George.
And yesterday he threw one to who? Who's the receiver that he threw one to yesterday?
Well, yesterday they were off. You're talking about Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah. You told him. He said
different. That was Hakeem.
I know, but the fact that he can put it in the air like that, though, was good to see and hear about, man.
Yeah, that's great. 760. We ever have 764 watching?
We're actually higher than that. I actually thought we were close to 780 at one point. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're in here.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Now, if you haven't hit the like button, go ahead and take care of that.
Yeah.
If you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and take care of that. If you haven't become a member, my goodness, what are we doing? What are you waiting for?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You know, we need to get you guys like all the way in, you know.
Go ahead.
Josh Dobbs just says KP8 has no deep ball problems. He has not in this camp. He is not missing on those balls. And that is and has been his emphasis throughout this offseason, including in his private sessions that he's had with his throwing coach.
And you know what's also fascinating too? One of the first things you asked me when I told you about the George Pickens clips is, Mom, who threw it? Who threw it? And I was just like, let me find another clip because I got the close-up of George Pickens and Joey Porter Jr. And I was like, it was Kenny. It was Kenny that did it.
Dwayne, who was out there as well, says that James Pierre was the guy who got burned, but no shame, okay? James Pierre can really move. Calvin Austin is from another planet when it comes to really moving. And by the way, we find some wood to knock on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, because he is, So don't be looking at some of these situations like, you know, this is this is bad because the defense gave it up or whatever. You want to see plays being made. Am I right, Moan?
Yeah, you do, man. And let's say this too about Calvin Austin Jr., who's been one of the most highly talked about guys on this team, not named Kenny Pickett or George Pickens, is this. He's drafted as a running back and played that in college too, right, DK? But his position may be just flexibility at this point. He's just a weapon. And I understand the excitement behind having Calvin Austin III be your guy that you have on this team, man, just simply because if health, knocking on wood, if health is something that stays with him throughout this entire year or a really good stretch that he can still play through games, how many people have that type of speed to have the tools to catch balls down the sideline like that, DK? If for anything, it stresses one side of the field that opens up another side of the field.
Yes, and the middle in turn, and all those things that you haven't seen from the Steelers in since Moan was still lining up.
So if you put him in a slot, we can keep that up there. You put him in a slot, right, DK? You put him in the slot, Calvin Austin.
Oh yeah,
you really got to devote somebody.
You got to
cover him because
please make it a linebacker.
And if you do put a linebacker or if you put a safety in, guess what also happens, DK? You can have Najee in the backfield still. Yeah. You can have Jalen Warren in the backfield. You can run. You can just give it to him down the seam. Like, what are we talking about?
HMJ comes in with, hey, Moan, long-time listener, first-time poster. That's appreciated. I always like to bring him out of the woodwork. Have you ever seen a guy in camp screw up by the numbers so bad that everyone thought he would be visited by the athletic trainer and told to see the coach?
Screw up so bad. Not really, because most guys are just pros about how they go about it. The worst thing I honestly saw was probably the fight between Ike Taylor and AB. You know what I'm saying? It don't really get that bad when it comes down to stuff like that, because coaches will tell you, you're on the ground, you're getting cut. Or, hey, you do something out of line, you're getting cut. Like, that is the one silver bullet that he stays with him, DK.
Mm-hmm. Ron Slay is encouraging us to get over 800. I will say, as it relates to someone getting embarrassed at the session, I'm going to use his name here because I don't care. He was right there in front of everybody. There's a running back on the roster named John Lovett. I know nothing about him.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, Mounts.
Turnstile.
Oh, no. So much worse. Landon Roberts, who I told you was an absolute dynamo.
Yeah.
In the backs on backers, flattened him. Just it was. I'm surprised they didn't call the Westmoreland County Police on him.
It was an assault.
It was so bad. And you know what your coach did?
What'd he do?
He lined him up again.
Yeah.
Because I think he wanted to give Lovett another chance, a chance at redemption. Show yourself, stand up. What did he say that was that line for you when you were a rookie?
Don't take it.
Don't take it. Okay. So they line up again. Oh, and it happened again, and it was even worse, and it was just so terrible.
No.
Okay. And this Lovett gets up. I know nothing about this player, okay?
Yeah.
I don't waste that much time on the fringe of the roster. I got too much to do out there, okay?
Yeah.
And this poor dude gets up and goes back to the running back crew, and they're easing away from him.
No.
That's who he was.
And he had the Scarlet A on?
Oh, it was so bad.
Oh, no, DK. So
it was so bad.
So, all right. So you have to be able to fight. That was one of those situations where, as a player, you say, screw whatever coming. I'm lunging at him, and I'm going to take him. I'm not cutting him, but I'm going to fake cut him, and then I'm going to pop him in his mouth. That has to happen. And what I would tell you is this, though. Landon Roberts is not a light back. He's a heavy player, and I don't mean fat or nothing he just hits hard.
It was so bad. And here it says Leo saying that's an XFL player Lovett just signed yesterday. Ooh. I don't know where he came from, but he's got to get right back there because if you can't block for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you are not playing running back. Now, a couple things to share with you, Moan, as it relates to backs on backers in particular. I thought the running backs held up very well.
Okay.
And we're going to share some information here with you and everybody who's watching this. One of the better blocking running backs was, sit down for it, Anthony McFarland. I thought he handled himself really well. Yeah. I mentioned this to someone really close to the team, and their response was, you understand, we're making real use of him this year.
Oh, wow.
There's no ambivalence about who RB3 is internally, and I'm told that there hasn't been for months.
Wow.
Okay? Wow. They like him.
You know what, DK? And I'll give some grace here to Lovett, man. Not necessarily all the grace, but I'll say this too. That drill is hard to do for running backs because in a real game, they can cut the linebacker. They can get a chip from the offensive line without getting a chop block, as long as we're not both engaged with them. So they are sitting ducks in a sense, but your feet better be buzzing. And you need to expect whatever coming your way. And for a guy like Landon Roberts, who's an older guy in this league, a seasoned guy in this league, you know what? Mm-hmm. You need to go pop him in the mouth. He shouldn't have waited on him the second time. When he said set height, you go towards the line of scrimmage the same way he does. I'm not getting flat back twice.
And he did.
I mean,
not just flat back, but Landon ended up on top of him. Oh, it wasn't pancake. It was stacked pancakes. Okay. All that was missing was I could have walked over and poured syrup on them.
This is more flapjacks than anything.
This was pretty rough.
Golly.
And I wouldn't wish it on anybody. But on the positive side, again, all of the running backs, I'm leaving out Jalen Warren. Najee Harris handled himself where Najee's more of a technician than somebody who's he keeps you at bay. He has his way of doing it. There were not a whole lot of clean runs to the quarterback in this. So I was impressed with the way the running backs go. Josh Grimm says, I just got back to my hotel room from camp. Holy cow, was that a fun experience for my first day. Pickens on Porter was so cool to see up close. George's catch made me lose my mind. Hey, that crowd had fun. And what day were we telling everybody to go?
First day of pads, baby. First day of pads.
We were getting this question weeks ago. And
We
what
were.
day? What
we
day?
told y'all. We said on the Tuesday.
August 1, we said right after they're off, come out there and get out there. I'm seeing some references here to, are they not allowed to wear knee pads? That is not what happened.
Nah.
To Corey Trice, okay? Mike Tomlin confirmed afterward that the Steelers believe it's a non-contact injury, but I'm going to again throw in parenthetically that his foot looked planted and then he turned. So while he didn't make contact with another player, he made contact with terra firma, okay?
Golly. That's tough, DK. And just to answer this question real quick too, DK, Alfonso from the Uncle's tables hit up and says they're going to be practice with pads on Saturday. Every day from here on out is practice on pads. Coach C is one of the first ones to tell us in that room, look, they're going to say this game got soft, but not here in Pittsburgh, PA. Not while we're in camp. Any day that I can have you bleeps in pads, you're going to be in pads.
Well, before we get him in trouble with the union, there might be some exceptions to it along the way.
Some days,
and then, of course, the day before, the day after a preseason game, they're not. They're just going to be walkthroughs or light run-throughs of something that would have happened the night before, or whatever.
DK, but not this Saturday.
No,
they're in full pass this Saturday.
They are. Yeah. They're going to be active. Yeah, this is also the week of Friday Night Lights, which will be active and with pads.
And if you want an autograph, that's the night to try to get there if you're around the Pittsburgh, PA area. Somebody asked that question. Friday Night Lights is the night to do that.
Aloha asks how Broderick Jones did. Line play in general was emphasized early on, especially on 7 shots, where you could tell the offense was going to be determined to, listen, we've been throwing passes in shorts. Let's see if we can plow through. Well, Najee Harris plowed through every single time. And a couple of those were going right to the left. That sounded contradictory. They were going to the left, but directly. It wasn't, there was no hesitation. There was no whatever. And I'll give Broderick, I saw a couple of times where he had a pretty decent push on his side. And I should mention that the first team left tackle was Dan Moore.
And any assessment on him, DK? Solid, nothing to call home about?
I'm not going to lie. There's only so many eyeballs I can spread around,
absolutely.
and I did not spend my day focused too much on the O-line. I'm never going to BS you with this stuff. I really wanted to see the running backs moving. I wanted to see, and I paid more attention to the defense because, as we were talking about on yesterday's show, we needed to see what these guys would bring once they were unchained a little bit.
Yes, we did. And I see somebody asking about 7 shots here too. DK, let me ask you this because you saw something up close and personal. What did the left guard do today in some sets, you said, as far as the snap count goes?
No, we were going to get through the whole show without mentioning that Isaac Seumalo, who's now proudly wearing 73.
7 Trey.
Okay. In the first snap of 7 shots, did this. He turned around and looked at Kenny. And it was the first time we've seen a left guard do that since the real 73.
Hey, he's the tap guy this year, man. I love it. I love it, man.
For anybody who doesn't know what that means, Moan, you can explain that.
Yeah, that's where I would tap to alert the center to bob his head and for the quarterback to get the snap, man. So I was actually kind of glad to kind of hear that a little bit. I should text Coach T and say, hey, heard you got a new tap guy, man, who's wearing 73. So it'll be fascinating to hear what some of the guys have to say. I am going to reach out to a few who's like, hey, how was the first day? Just to get some feedback on what they have to say about it.
I like the push on the left side of the line, which is where they ran twice consecutively on 7 shots and got in both times. Now, the second one was really close, but they got in.
Yeah. Oh, did they?
Yeah, because, well, again, same side, same everything. And I think the defense figured out right away today was going to be a little bit different. They were going to be running the football a whole heck of a lot. And they did. Really, really interesting day overall.
DK, again, the catch, because it's viral at this point. George Pickens.
It's everywhere. It's on SportsCenter.
I do hate that Joey Porter Jr. got that, but I'll say this. Everybody's got to have some scars in their game. I tell anybody, getting scars on your knees and elbows ain't a bad thing, right?
Here's the thing. Joey talked after the practice, and Joey basically said, hey, is it it's a great catch, whatever else. And he didn't say anything negative like I was doing at the beginning about OPI or taunting or anything. It's part of the fun. We're out here, we're practicing hard, we're trying.
Yeah.
That's the right attitude to have. Got beat, beat them next time. It should be noted here, by the way, that the reason that George Pickens did the little whatever with the football afterward is that Joey had been playing really well against him.
Oh, did he? Oh, he leaned into him a little bit today.
Oh, yeah.
So,
this was not lopsided. It's just that Joey gets the posterized on ESPN.
And that catch, though, not many people are making that catch. Like I said, I'm in random group chats in my phone with guys talking about this that also played in the NFL. And it's just one of those things, man. And I'll say this about George Pickens, all the talent in the world. It seemed like he's channeling in a little bit more. The more and more he becomes a guy to just say, give me the ball and an opportunity, and he delivers on those things, more moments like this will happen. He will be a top fantasy draft guy this year in a joking way, but
This will help. Help.
It will help, but I'm glad to see the group, Calvin Austin down there, Deontay down there, like Kenny comes down there. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like I saw Mason Rudolph down there celebrating with those guys, man. And I was just like, that's good. They're young, y'all. Like, DK, would you say this is one of the youngest offenses you've covered?
It's one of the younger offenses in franchise history. So it goes way back before me being around.
And I'll say this is kind of how monsters are built. Okay? Like, you got to get beat up a little bit, criticized a little bit, and then you have stuff like this happen.
Got to be competition. Got to be competition. And you can't get all cringy or whatever. One thing, and don't think less of anybody for this, but when Corey Trice got hurt, the camp just kept going on around him. Everybody went to the next station. Okay, because that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Daniel Evans says, with a $10 contribution too. Appreciate that, Dan.
Daniel? Thanks.
He says, took my dad to his first ever training camp today. George's catch happened right in front of us. My dad has always been stoic, but he cheered like a kid after seeing that. Here's to dads. That's the way to end this program.
So, man.
Although I got one that can top Dan's story.
Go. Let's go. We got a couple minutes. Go ahead, DK.
Well, how about if we do it in the post-op? Let's do that.
In the post-op? Yeah. So you got to hang around a little bit?
You got to hang around a little bit. Let's do that.
Let's do that. We'll be here, DK.
All right. Who are we giving the award to today?
I'm going to just raise it up real. And it actually has something that correlates exactly what we got going on. It's a bulldog.
Oh, it is.
George Pickens got that dog in him, and he's looking to the light right there. You see what I'm saying?
Joey Porter Jr. showed some of his own dog. I'm going to stick up for him here, okay? 3 OPIs on the way down the field. 3.
Hey, I'm here for it, DK. We're here to tell the truth, man, the whole truth. You feel me? That's it.
Here's what I've got. So I'm walking on the one sideline, right? Yeah. And I hear somebody yo, DK. And I look over to my right. And I'm just going to wave or whatever. And he yells out, it's Twiz. Our Twiz from our little community here, right?
Yeah.
He's in the front row up against the railing. And I go, Twiz! Like I'm waiting for Hollywood music and stuff as I go running toward with the arms open and everything. And heard from a lot of people who are watching the Ramon Foster show who appreciate it, who asked what time we were going to be on today so that they can get out of there and get to their proper station to hear the show and everything. It's really cool, man. It just is.
Well, good, man. I hate I'm not able to be there, especially on days like this, man. Offensive pass interference doesn't exist. Okay, I'm gonna also throw that out there too.
Out of here.
Offensive pass, it's a myth. Okay, I don't know why you keep saying this.
No.
You love the OL, but your heart belongs on defense. It's kind of like you're a real Yinzer. You understand what defense is?
Oh, I totally get that. Yeah.
Okay.
To me, the quintessential Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
Don't look at me funny for this, okay? Because the 70s, I was pretty young then. Were the mid 90s, those guys, okay? And then the late 2000s,
yeah,
where they were just the badass Pittsburgh Steelers taking the field that way. You guys intimidated in a very different way.
Yeah.
People knew they were going to cough up 30 points to you one way or another.
Yeah. I had a Raven. I recently saw him, Anthony Levine, mostly special team, but DB for the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
He's down here, and I ran into him, and he ran up on me and shook my hand. He said, "Hey, I need you to know I personally hated you on the field, okay?" I was like,
mean you.
My dog. He meant all of us. He was like, no, and he spoke about our old line. He's like, they used to send me on blitz and stuff, and y'all would just used to grab me and just throw me around. He's like, I hated all of y'all. I was like, but it was respect at the end of the day, huh? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, the North is just different. So hearing this practice, seeing guys compete like George and JPJ does, and just the growth of this, like, that's what the North is. That's what Steeler ball is. And you couldn't ask for a better franchise to be a part of, DK. Goodness gracious.
The way to become a member here is to go to dkps.net/join. Just put it up in your URL, just as if you're typing a website from scratch. dkps.net/join. We'd love to have you along with us. We certainly had enough people along with us for the show today. That's very, very cool. We will have another one of these tomorrow, and then there will be a very special, very, very special guest host for the 2 shows Thursday and Friday.
Yay. Let's do it.
We're keeping it internal, in-house, as they say, Moan, right?
Shane, we never are linemen down the field either, man. Goodness gracious, man.
Jeez.
I can't be pro offensive. I got to be unbiased.
He doesn't stop. He hasn't stopped being a player. All right,
Good
guys.
day,
Tomorrow. Bye-bye.